Well, today I'd like demonstrating how to use the stereo microscope, or as it's sometimes called, a dissecting microscope, to observe, manipulate, and sample aquatic life, and why I think that it should be your first choice when purchasing a first microscope or as a supplementary upgrade to an upright one. So, let's dive in and discuss the benefits. Due to its low magnification, a stereo microscope has a very wide field of view, so we can observe relatively large subjects as a whole, and zooming in when we want to observe finer details. The zoom feature is also very useful with photography and videography for flexible framing of our subject. An ample working distance, i.e. the distance between the objective and our sample, allows us to easily manipulate and pipette our subject of interest. As our sample is in a more natural form, not compressed under a slide, we can observe its natural behavior for longer periods of time without worrying about drying out slides or compression. With translucent subject like protozoa, we illuminate our sample from the bottom. Or we can shine it from the top in case of an opaque subject like an insect. We can use bright field, dark field, oblique, polarized, and even fluorescence illumination in high-end models. My preferred method for protozoans is dark field. Although it can't be seen in the video, viewing through the eyepieces of a stereo microscope is a different experience and much more enjoyable and immersive because of the stereo effect, which gives us a 3D experience. Relatively, stereo microscopes are cheaper than upright ones, and due to its abundance in electronics and assembly lines, you can find very good second-hand models for cheap. The only preparation needed is pouring a sample onto a petri dish or a watch glass, so it's very suitable for kids as well. I recommend no more than 3 mm of water height to keep a relatively deep depth of field. Scanning the sample is done by hand, moving the petri dish, and you can clear the surrounding with a fine entomological needle. When I get a new sample, I transfer some of it to a petri dish and let it acclimate for a while. It's very tempting to use higher magnifications, but for start, I recommend using a low one for initial scanning, as it gives us much more depth of field and a wider field of view. Even with 2x magnification, we can see ciliates and such, and when we want to observe them in a greater detail, or pipette it, we zoom in. When I find a subject of interest, I clear the surroundings to get a better and cleaner slide, and then pipette it to a pre-cleaned slide for a more detailed view in the upright or inverted microscope. The stereo microscope is not a substitute for an upright or inverted one for watching protozoans, but it's a great gateway to this hobby, especially for the young, and in my opinion, a must supplementary tool for the serious hobbyist.